Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. So, I'm 43 female. My sister is 41 female and has 2 kids. They are teens now, like 15 and 17. But this whole thing started when they were really little, like under 5. Back then, I was in a long-term relationship with someone who was also child-free by choice. We loved being around kids, but didn't want any of our own. My sister and her husband used to ask me to take the kids for entire weekends all the time, so they could get breaks. I said no. I didn't want that responsibility, and my partner definitely didn't either. But even though I wasn't willing to babysit for full weekends, I still did a lot. I would visit them, go to parks with them, help out during family events, buy them toys, bring them little stuff whenever I saw them. That kind of thing. I just didn't want to be their unpaid weekend nanny. One time, she asked again if I could take them for a full weekend. I said I couldn't. She got cold over the phone and then said, "If you don't want to be there when it's hard, then you don't deserve to be in their lives when it's easy." I thought she was just angry at the moment, but then she followed through. She stopped inviting me to anything involving the kids, wouldn't let me see them even at family parties. At Christmas one year, I tried to give them a small gift and she pulled them away before I could hand it over. If I said hi to them, she would make up some reason to take them into another room. It got to the point where I stopped trying. I figured she made her choice. A few years passed, cousins in the family started having kids. I got close to 2 of my cousins' children, now around 11 and 13. Their parents never once expected me to watch the kids unless I offered. They let me be involved how I wanted. I started attending school performances, birthday parties, sleepovers, sometimes when they wanted, or just coming over to hang out. I've given gifts here and there, nothing crazy, just things I knew they liked. This year, one of them had a milestone. She got into a performing arts middle school after working really hard. I gave her a new iPad, one of the newer models with a stylus. Her younger brother just had his birthday, and I gave him a gaming console he had been saving for, a Switch OLED with 2 games. Well, somehow my sister heard about it. I guess someone in the family mentioned it. Now she's upset. She told our mom that I've been playing favorites and said I'm choosing to be an aunt to everyone except her kids. Our mom brought it up, saying I should at least make it up to my sister's kids since they're older and might feel left out. I asked her how I'm supposed to make it up when I was literally told to stay away from them for most of their childhood. She said I could try now since they're teenagers. I said no, they've grown up not knowing me because of my sister's choice, and now that they're teens, I'm supposed to suddenly start dropping expensive gifts on them so my sister can feel like I'm being fair. I told her I would keep doing what I've been doing, being involved with the kids who've had an actual relationship with me. Now my mom says I'm being cold and need to think of the kids. I feel like my sister made this bed. She didn't want me in their lives back then. I accepted it. I didn't try to force a relationship, and now I'm being asked to make things even. Update. So after I posted, a few things happened. The big one is that I actually ended up talking to one of my sister's kids, the older one, who is 17 now. I ran into him at a family thing where my sister had to leave early for some reason, and he ended up staying behind with my mom. We were both just sitting there, and I figured I would keep it casual and say hi. We ended up talking for about an hour. Turns out, he remembers me more than I thought. He asked why I disappeared when he was little. I told him I didn't disappear, that I wasn't allowed to come around. He looked confused and said he thought I just stopped caring. That hit me harder than I expected. He said he used to ask about me a lot when he was younger, especially after birthdays or holidays, when he would see other kids with aunts and uncles giving gifts or hanging out. He thought I just didn't want to be around. I told him that wasn't the case and that I was told I couldn't be part of their lives. Then he kind of paused and said, "That tracks with other stuff." I asked what he meant, and he said there's been other times when their mom, my sister, would say things that felt weird, like making certain family members seem like villains over small stuff. So that led to me and my sister finally having a direct conversation, which we hadn't done in years. She got defensive fast, said she had to draw a boundary back then because she felt abandoned. I said, "But you didn't just set boundaries, you shut me out completely." She said she felt like I was only showing up for the fun parties. I told her I was child-free. I never hid that. I was around in the ways I could be, and she didn't just express hurt, she punished me. And now that her kids are older and I'm involved with others in the family, she wants to rewrite things. She tried to say I should have fought harder to be in their lives. I said, "That's not how boundaries work. You can't tell someone to stay away and then get mad that they didn't show up." We ended the conversation there. She's still mad. My mom is now even more in the middle and says I should just give the kids something small to even things out. I'm not doing that. I told my nephew if he ever wants to hang or talk, he can reach out. I'm not going to chase anything, but I'm not pretending like the past didn't happen either. So yeah, that's where we're at. I feel so sad for your nephew, OP, and it's saddening that you didn't get to be a part of these kids' lives as much as you would have wanted to, just because you didn't want to babysit for your sister every single time. I blame everything on your sister. Her trying to pass the buck on you by saying you should have tried harder after she literally did everything in her power to keep you away from her kids is ridiculous. She doesn't get to say, "Stay away," and then get mad when you do so. I really hope you and your nephew and niece can form a bond and get to know each other better. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not helping my mom with house chores because I want equal rights first? Background. I live in a strict Indian household with my parents. They are really against me moving out. I, 22 female, have no issues with helping around the house. Or if my mom tells me to do something, I do it, no questions asked. But my dad is really adamant that I help her in the kitchen more as she makes dinner nearly every night and does the majority of household chores and gets tired. I have another older brother who also lives at home, but no one ever asks him to lift a finger, apart from mowing the lawn every so often in summer. I get told that I should help my mom simply because I'm a girl. And I am against this type of misogyny. A lot of fights happen because I think that everyone should help equally, and it should not be based on gender. These fights often happen when I refuse to do what my dad tells me to do. Go clean the dishes, help your mother, etc. when everyone else is sitting down not doing anything. My mom agrees with me, but has been raised to agree with whatever her husband says. Basically, so she won't cause any arguments. But no one else in my family will stand up to him. He drinks a lot and sometimes comes home drunk, demanding food in the middle of the night. And my mom has to wake up and get it for him even though I tell her to not put up with that. But a part of me wants to just give up and give in and just do what I'm told, essentially, as I don't like to make my mom do everything. She doesn't ask me to do much because I come home with only a couple hours before I go to sleep, and she likes that I'm kind of fighting for equality. Am I the a-hole for not helping out my mom more just because my dad told me to? Edit. I want to move out. I dislike living under his roof, but I want to have a relationship with them as they are still my family. I live rent-free, but so does my brother, and I am expected to do 10 times more. I have the means to move out, but I'm kinda in a situation where I'm emotionally forced to live here. Everyone has a job. However, I commute further, so I end up getting home later than everyone else. You're definitely not the a-hole, OP. Your father is. Him and everyone else who thinks it's fair for daughters to handle all the household responsibilities, while sons only mow the lawn once a summer. It's sad that your mother has accepted this behavior instead of fighting hard against it. There should be equal responsibilities for both boys and girls. Everyone should contribute to the home, not just the daughters. If your mother needs help making dinner that you all will eat, then it's only fair that your brother gives her a hand instead of it always being you. I'm really sorry you're dealing with this, and I hope you find a way out soon. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Unfortunately, however, I'm not sure there's a solution here other than moving out, and that obviously only solves the problem for you while your mom is still stuck with the raw deal. I wonder how your brother feels about it. Not sure he's going to be as successful as your dad was in finding a partner that's okay with that dynamic. Not the a-hole, but the situation sucks, and you only hurt your mother by refusing to help. As an adult, you need to make the decision on when you need to leave. If your mother cedes her power as a homeowner or co-head of your family to your father, he gets to make the decisions. If you aren't paying rent, then it is expected that you do what is asked of you. If you don't like what is being asked of you, then you move out. The situation laughs in the face of equality, and you are not an a-hole for wanting equality or for insisting things aren't fair. Because those things are very reasonable feelings. Good luck. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for being upset at my parents even though they paid for my wedding? So, I'm ready to get roasted here, but I will accept my judgment. I got married about 6 months ago, and my family offered to pay for most of the wedding. This was a hugely generous offer, and I appreciated it a lot. I work in public service, and there's no way I could have afforded a wedding at all. While I knew that by accepting the money, I really needed to let my family have the final word on a lot of decisions. I had one holdout request that blew up into a huge fight. My parents have a neighbor, let's call him Charlie, who is just complete trash and nothing like any of their other friends. I have nothing to do with him, and if he shows up at their place, I leave. He's racist, he's bigoted, he's exposed himself to women at parties as a joke. He has grabbed women while drunk, and he's a terrible alcoholic. Inexplicably, this guy is Teflon with my parents' friend group, and according to them, it would have been unthinkable to snub him. Now we fought about this. An ugly fight. Tears were shed. I begged. My dad, he's mean, called me the C word and more, and threatened not to come to my wedding at all. He left me sobbing on the street and told me I was killing my mother because I am such an ungrateful bish. I am not proud of this, but I caved. I was feeling vulnerable. I didn't want all the ugliness. My dad is seriously ill, so every fight feels like I can't take it back. And my mom promised that Charlie would be escorted out at first sign of trouble. I wasn't so sure, particularly because my group of friends is very diverse, and my husband isn't white. But I trusted her that it would be okay for a few hours, and I, according to her, wouldn't even know he's there. Fast forward to the wedding, Charlie gets rip-roaring drunk and starts trying to fight our DJ. He's screaming F you, flipping him off. He's mad, I guess, because he doesn't like the music. The bartenders cut him off, and he's escorted out. I didn't know this at the time because it was all handled so quickly. When I found out, I called the DJ and bartenders personally to apologize, but I'm livid. I'm so embarrassed. I know how easily this could have been worse. It could have just as easily been my husband's family. And I don't know what I would have ever been able to apologize enough. I'm so angry at my parents for bullying me to invite Charlie, especially because he did exactly what I knew he would do. And they acted like no one saw this coming. Am I the a-hole because I could have and should have walked away from their offer to pay and sidestepped the issue? Or is it fair of me to be upset because they used a generous offer coupled with a threat to blow up my family and estrange themselves to manipulate me to do something that made me horribly uncomfortable, and it caused potentially disastrous consequences? Now for some comments. Everyone sucks here. When you accept their money, you accept their strings. You compromised your authority over your wedding. when you accepted money from your parents. If you don't want your decisions overruled, then don't lean on terrible people for cash. All in all, the incident was managed without your notice or intervention, so nothing truly terrible happened. Just take your lesson about the cost of free money and move on. Not the a-hole. What the actual F? Your entire post gave me the willies. Yes, they paid for it. And that is very nice and generous, but as the one getting married, you still have a major say in who gets invited. And your father calls you the C word? Yes, you could have declined their offer, and maybe you should have. A nice and generous offer is less nice when it comes with the condition to invite someone like that. You are right to be angry, but also take it as a lesson not to take anything your family offers. As it appears, they don't give things in good faith and use it to manipulate you.